Yeah. So today we're going to be learning how to add and subtract decimals using the standard algorithm. Okay? Just like you add and subtract whole numbers, you can add and subtract decimals in a very similar way. But there are some important things that we have to make sure we do. So let's read this little teacher's blurb on her board. She says, when adding or subtracting decimals, always make sure that you line up the decimals first. Please put a big star next to that. That is how you are going to find the most success with this skill. When you're lining up the decimals, what are you really lining up?
You're lining up like the numbers and the
What was that?
The decimal point.
Well, we already said that. What else are we lining up because we're lining up the decimal point?
Decimals?
Anyone think they have a guess? Well, we're already lining up the decimals. Because we line up the decimals, what else gets lined up automatically? The place values. So by lining up the decimals, you are lining up the numbers by their place values, which is so incredibly important. Because you can't subtract a 10 from a ones place. You have to subtract ones place from ones place, right? So by lining up the decimal, you're automatically lining up all your numbers by their place value. So we're going to start with the adding problem, and we're going to use this grid. We're going to be writing our problem in these two boxes. The top box is for anything that you have to carry over to the next place value or regroup. The bottom is going to be for your sum. So we're going to line them up right in here. I've got 23 and 7/10. 23 and 7/10 plus 13 and 25/100. Please line up your values the way I just did in my chart. You get to just add them normally. The only thing we have to be careful of is notice here in my hundredths place, my first number doesn't have a hundredths place. What can I write in there to do my addition problem, Ava? You can put a placeholder right here. That way you've got numbers lined up in each place value. But then, Harper, yep, you just add them normally. What's 0 plus 5? 7 plus 2? 3 plus 3? 2 plus 1? Is my answer 3,695?
No.
What do I have to do, Amelie?
Decimal point.
Where?
In between the 6 and the 9.
Yes, you're going to bring that decimal point. Since all your digits are lined up, that means your decimal point and your sum is lined up as well. It's that easy. Let's try one with subtraction, though. I have 25 and 4/10 minus 16 and 54/100. Put placeholders where you need them. Did I just change this first number in my subtraction problem by putting a 0 in the hundredths place? No, because 40/100ths and 4/10ths, those are equivalent. Having 40/100ths can be regrouped into 4/10ths. So let's go ahead and start subtracting. Can I do 0 minus 4?
No.
What do I have to do?
You have to borrow from the 5.
Borrow from the 5?
You borrow from the 4.
I borrow from the 4. The 4 becomes a 3. And now I'm going to regroup that 10 over to the ones place to make 10. What's 10 minus 4?
6.
All right, can I do 3 minus 5? I have to what? Borrow. That 5 becomes a 4. I'm regrouping 10. This becomes a 13. Very good. 13 minus 5 is 8. All right, next place. Can I do 4 minus 6? Nope, I have to borrow again. When I borrow and I regroup, that becomes a 14. Very good. What's 14 minus 6?
8. No, 9. No,
It's 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So the answer is 8 and 86.
So what about 1 minus 1?
0.
0. And where should my decimal point go? Akshita? In between both the 8s. It's just all of them need to be lined up from my original numbers to my sum or difference. Okay? So what's my answer here for my subtraction problem?
8 and 8600.
Fabulous. 8 and 8600ths. You don't have to read that 0 in front of the 8. It's just saying you have 0 tens. It can go away now, right? Awesome. We're going to do 4 practice problems. Are you guys ready? You may pause the video and practice these 4 practice problems. Then hit resume when you're done to check your answers. All right, Blue Math. Number 1 should be 70 and 97 hundredths. Number 2 should be 18 and 13 hundredths. Number 3 should be 35 and 100th. And number 4 should be 18 and 300th.